What's up guys? Today I'm going to take you through a full workout. Now as you know, I've been splitting up my training into blocks with the primary focus on getting stronger on big compound movements. But what I would say is the second most important part or block is work capacity focused training. And so this is going to be higher volume, lower rest with the goal of doing more work in the same amount of time. I actually think that these two training styles can have a synergistic effect. And today I'm going to take you through a full shoulder workout from that work capacity block. About to head up to the gym, going to have a scoop and a half of pulse, quarter teaspoon of salt. I find that sodium, if you haven't eaten anything in a while or haven't had a lot of salt in a few hours, really helps with mind-muscle connection and generally with power. And so I really enjoy that. And then I'm going to mix it with Topo Chico. Let's get into it. All right, guys, let's get into this workout. Like I mentioned, shoulders focused, higher volume workout. And to clarify before I go any further, my primary goal and still what I recommend you focus on is getting stronger in kind of the 4 to 6 rep range. That is what's going to drive the majority of your growth, especially kind of with those heavy compound movements. But I do think that at an intermediate or advanced level, this type of training can help. One, further that progress. I find that there's a kind of a nice synergistic effect between this type of training and then that heavy compound training. And then two, to kind of supplement the hypertrophy. So obviously the majority of your hypertrophy is going to come from getting stronger on those main movements, but you can kind of add some additional muscle and fill out a little bit by doing this type of training. Also burns a ton of calories, improves your conditioning, and generally kind of is pretty enjoyable. And so that being said, what I want to clarify as well is that this is not just a bodybuilder style workout. I'm not saying that that's the kind of workout you should be doing. Each of these sets is tracked, and instead of just trying to do more weight on a particular set, the idea is to do more work in the same amount of time. And how I'm defining work here is sets times reps times weight. And the structure of this workout, and I'll leave it in the description box below, is 8 sets of 8 reps with only 20 seconds rest in between sets for 4 exercises. So 36 total sets, which sounds like a lot, but what you have to understand is that each of these sets in a vacuum is not particularly challenging. Where it's challenging is doing 8 of them in a row with only 20 seconds rest. So even the first 3 or 4 sets here might not be that challenging, but by the time you get to set kind of 7 or 8, your muscles are just burning, and the pump is pretty crazy too. But again, this is not just a general kind of pump focused workout. You are tracking everything, and this workout is adapted from my hybrid block training, specifically the density block. So if you're interested in that, check out the link in the description box below. But regardless, the point of this workout, again, is to do more work. And an important thing to kind of get started here is selecting the weight. Now, a lot of people are not sure how they should select the weight for this kind of thing because it can be difficult. Your first, like I mentioned, your first kind of 3 or 4 sets can feel super easy, and you kind of are inclined to increase the weight, but that is almost never the right thing to do, given the cumulative fatigue and the effect that has. So what I typically recommend is you take an exercise, you take your 5 rep max on that particular exercise, you cut it in half, take 50% of that, and then that is what you start with. That's what I would recommend. Again, this is going to be in the description box below with a little bit more detail to kind of structure it for yourself. But yeah, I absolutely love this type of training. It kind of stresses your body in a different way. Heavy training, as most of you know, kind of has a very unique effect on your body and kind of stresses the CNS in addition to just your muscles. And this is more of a physical stress versus one that has like when you're training for strength, you get that really kind of intense mental fatigue and central nervous system fatigue. This is more focused on kind of a physical fatigue, and your CNS, in my experience, isn't quite as taxed here. And so what you'll see me doing here to kind of give you some specifics on this workout are 4 shoulder exercises. They are a little bit different than what I lay out in the program, and the reason for that is I am always trying to find what works best for me in terms of shoulder activation. It's something that I've struggled with. Overactive traps and very strong triceps make it difficult oftentimes to really isolate the shoulder. I find that these movements help me, and this goes for kind of all of my programs. A lot of people tend to reach out and say, hey, can I switch this exercise or whatever? I almost always say yes, because you need to do the exercises that you can feel working, that you can do with good form. Don't do an exercise that you can't really feel, like flat bench, for example, just because you think that's the right exercise to do. Do it because you get good muscle activation from it. And as always, training at my home gym, I love these late night workouts. This was about 10:30 or so. And as somebody who really kind of appreciates my alone time, this is absolute meditation for me, especially because the lighting is so good, which doesn't hurt. But I realized that I have a doctor's appointment in the morning, just a few hours from when I did this workout. It's my 6-month update on my newest sleep apnea treatment. And so I'll take you guys with me. If I sleep on my back at a slight angle with my mouth facing, the way that I'm thinking about it is like, I am seeing some improvements. I've seen like flashes of like really good sleep. It's not consistent, but as opposed to never having experienced that in years.
Right.
It's good. Just finished up at the doctor's office working on my sleep apnea. The thesis here of this treatment is to widen out my mouth and widen out my airway. I have 2 appliances. They're kind of like retainers, one for the top, one for the bottom. I have to wear them like 16 hours a day, and then I have to adjust them every few days to keep my mouth moving. So each incremental time, things get a little bit wider. It's worked a little bit. I would say that 6 months in, I've seen some improvement, but I'm not all the way there yet. Still a decent amount to go, but pretty confident in the treatment overall. Like I said before, this is something that's been really tough for me. Hopefully, this is it. This is kind of the final treatment, but regardless, I'm gonna keep pushing forward. I'm not gonna use it as an excuse. I'm not gonna say, I have this health issue, so I'm not going to try to get in shape or stay in shape or put out content or, do well at work, whatever. It is what it is. I'm working as hard as I can to address it, to fix it, and that's all I can do. Still got to kind of live to my best potential, despite having this issue. Not going to let it kind of take me down. That's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Next week, very relevant video for you guys. I'm gonna take you through a full day of eating ahead of a night out, going out, having a big dinner, getting a few drinks. I'm gonna take you through all of kind of my nutrition and training strategies to kind of how I prepare for a night out like that in order to, one, fully enjoy it, and two, to stay on track. So check that out for next week. If you aren't subscribed, please subscribe. But regardless, thank you very much for watching. I appreciate the support.